Welcome to the Champion Blueprint Podcast, where mindset meets mission.
We're diving into what it really takes to lead, win, and live with purpose.
From NFL locker rooms to boardrooms, it's all about discipline, core values, and the habits that build champions.
Whether you're leveling up in business, life, or leadership, this is your playbook.
Champion your mindset.
Champion your purpose.
Let's go.
Welcome again, Champion Blueprint Podcast. George Rogers, the great champ himself, Gary Brackett. What's going on, my friend? How you feeling today?
I am great, man. Getting ready to finish off this year strong. So it's a great topic for today. I'm excited.
It is. It's crazy how this year, I feel like, back when in the summer, like August, August went quick.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like time is kind of slowly, and now here we are.
Yeah.
We're a week away from Thanksgiving, and this topic for me, Gary, is dear to my heart because I always go on this finish strong Friday kind of mentality, and I start looking at the calendar and we're knocking at the door. It's rivalry weekend and college football's coming up.
Yeah.
You got the team on North game for my Buckeyes, and 4 years in a row, man. 2 of them I don't count because it was cheating.
Yeah.
Still, but last year they got us clear, fair and square. It was some coaching mishaps there, but no hard feelings. But I was looking at the calendar and I realized I only had we only got 6-7 weeks left of this year. One of the things that I always love to do, and I encourage people, whether it's coaching, and we both coach and do some leadership development, I always encourage teams and companies and individuals to really, in order to finish strong, because you want to start stronger.
Yeah.
And there's this old adage, and I hate it. It's not doesn't matter how you start, it matters how you finish. And I'm like, it matters how you start and you finish.
Yeah, both.
Both is a priority.
We'll start fast, finish strong.
Yeah, start fast, finish strong. And so we're going to be talking about today, one of my favorite topics, finish strong, how we can really start stronger. And that's through the power of self-evaluations. This is something that I love to do now. I've been doing this now for myself for the last couple of weeks. I just kind of go over evaluation. I learned something from John Maxwell, the guru of leadership, a long time ago. And he talked about how his father instilled in him, he wanted to go over his calendar every year and go through and see how many times he had meetings with certain people. How many times did I hang out with Gary? How often was those conversations? How often were those meetings very valuable? And he will literally discern and go through and edit and evaluate those relationships. Which ones were valuable? Which ones cost me? Meaning which ones cost me time and which ones cost me emotions? Which ones cost me fighting? Whatever the cost is, and was it worth the cost, or do I need to replace that time with something more valuable? So it's important to do these things. I always, and I'll spin it over to you, waiting until the end of the year for a self-evaluation. To me, it's like checking the scoreboard after the game is over.
Yeah.
How much time we got left? It's done. Clock management is important. We talked about time management a while back, but how important is self-evaluation for you and what you do for yourself personally?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think so many people get caught up. Either they have the mindset, I'll push it off to next year. Yeah. You got those type of people. Which I think is dangerous, right? Because you said it's like you're already starting the year, and then it's like, I'm going to get started, So then you miss so much valuable time and critical time. Playing sports, I'm a fourth quarter guy, right? Yeah. So let's get everything done right now. And even in games where we're losing, we wanted to build the momentum going to practice next week of let's have some positive takeaways that we got corrected during the game that we can lead to next week. So I always want to, finish, strong. And I think making a self-evaluation, looking at where I could have been better at, looking at, areas where I did really well, I think is always critical, because I think you really hit the head on something with John Maxwell, taking that evaluation of people who are draining, situations that are draining. Every year I like to do addition by subtraction. Yeah. Right. So many people think every year you need to add more. No, sometimes you just subtract something from last year that if you took that away, you could focus more on things that you're really good at. Yeah.
And so our goal today, what we want to get out of here is, listen, let's not wait until December 31st.
Not at all.
I'm an anti-New Year's resolution type of guy anyway. I want strategic thought in everything that I want to process and get out of the year. Yeah. And so the importance of why we believe evaluating now, for one, as we talk about champion mindset and the things you need to do, the most successful leaders that I've been around don't wait until the December 31st. They don't wait until the end of the year or the end of their quarters to really reflect. This is something that they start before the year ends. And it really, really helps you champion and evaluate yourself and gives you time, right? So for me, I like to start at the end of October, early November, and just kind of go through the first quarter, like what were my goals? What did I want to achieve this year? Right. Who am I? I go through those 4 questions. Who am I? What did I want? Where was I going? Who did I want to be when I finally get there? And I answer those, am I who I wanted to be at this stage of the year, right? And if not, where did I miss? What was gaps? What happened in life? And again, life happens, for sure. Things happen. But how do we then prepare ourselves to be able to say, hey, listen, I may not be able to achieve it to this fulfillment or to this great goal that I have, but what can I do in the next 6 weeks to end this year finishing strong so that I can start next year goes off with a creative mindset, right? And so when you do the evaluation early, it really creates opportunity by reviewing yourself and creates that space to correct that course of action, right? If you got a low tire, you try to get to a destination, you don't wait till the tire blows and you're on your rims. Right. You want to make sure you're addressing that so you can get to that finish start and your destination and correct that situation before it costs you even more.
And that's exactly right. I think sometimes the cost far outweighs the benefit. Yeah. And I think, like you said, that preventative maintenance, I think is like an ounce of prevention is worth more than 1,000 pounds of a cure. Yeah. So I think it's really, being preventative, looking ahead, playing chess, always being a few moves ahead of where you're going to be on the board, but taking a real assessment of where you're at. Yeah. And sometimes, you're not up on the scoreboard. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay, right? Yep. Just self-reflection is self-reflection. That's not, I would always be mindful of people who didn't like to watch film when playing football because they had a bad game. Yeah. Like those are the games I wanted to watch over and over again because I wanted to improve. Yep. So I think there's so many things that you can find when you do that self-reflection, and it's critical that you don't miss any of those points. Yeah. So let's dive into these and give you some strategic thoughts, some 2 or 3 things that really stick out for us when it comes to self-evaluation. The first for me, the first strategic thought, we want to label them something. These are just G&G, Gary and George's strategic thoughts on going through a self-evaluation. Number 1, clarity creates momentum. Right? Clarity creates momentum. And I believe when you do these self-evaluations, start with asking yourself, and this is something that I do, what did I desire for this year, right? So I just talked about the 4 questions I asked myself. Who am I? What do I want? Where am I going? Who do I want to be when I finally get there? What desire did I have for this year? And am I aligned with that vision currently? Yep. Right? It's all about where you are now so that you can prepare for what's next. Understanding who you are. And so too often, I believe we focus only on the goal we set in January without checking if it's still relevant. Number 1, is it still relevant? Like the goal is the goal, but do I need to change the method of how I get there? Is the messaging a little bit different? Like what's the clarity on there? So, what was the win that I had the most throughout this journey and like really aligning those things? Find out things that you're most proud of. Yeah. Right. And sometimes what I found, Gary, is that even if I'm not aligned, if I'm not close to that goal, there's some moments to be proud of. There's some successes, even in the losses, even in the trials that you may face that change the trajectory of your journey. But to be able to go through those and say, what am I most proud of this year? And how does this align with my goal? That's one of the things I do. What's something you do when it comes to helping you create that clarity and momentum when you're evaluating yourself? Yeah, I think when I goal set, I always like to set stretch goals. Yeah. Right. Because I think Les Brown said most people's problem is not that they set their goals too high and they miss it, is that they set their goals too low and they hit them. Yeah. Right. That's good. That's good. So many people are just like, oh, I made this much last year, I'm going to make this much again this year. Like, that's not really a goal, right? That's doing the same thing you always been doing.
Get the same thing you always got.
Yeah, exactly. So my mindset is like, all right, what's the goal yearly? Then break it down to 90 days, then weekly. What are the activities that I need to be doing to become that person that I want to be at the end of the year? So what I like to look at is like daily, my calendar, my schedule, and are my habits in line with becoming the person that I want to become?
Are your habits in line with a person? Because you can have goals all the time. This is important that you say this because goals without habits, you're going in two different directions. Like if you have a goal to be a millionaire, but you got a work ethic and habits.
Or you save some of the time, or you're consistent some of the time, you big statement some of the time. It's like, you're not doing the daily activities that's going to lead you to your ultimate goal.
Yeah. So what Gary's saying for those who are trying to, the gyms are always getting packed right after Thanksgiving and Christmas. What you're saying is like your goal is to have to lose weight, to get in shape, to have better health. Let's just put it at that. But your habits are sleeping in, or staying out late, eating bad, and never making it to the gym consistently. You're going to be who you are because your habits don't align with your goals.
Exactly. So I think it's really important about what habits are you forming and being consistent with. And, is that one little quote that I always like, it's always a great time. You can always restart, refocus. And that's true. And, oftentimes I'm with you about the whole New Year's resolution. It's like, all right, I want to stop drinking. Yeah. And then they make it into maybe January and they had a drink and like, oh, that goal is going. Yeah. I'm back drinking again. It's like, no, like build failure into your plan.
Yeah.
Right, builds a little bit of resistance in
your some accountability.
Plan. Exactly. All right, it's not always going to go as you thought it was, but that's okay. Like you can always get back going. You can always restart and refocus, relock in, and really start creating those habits and that consistency that's going to long term help you meet your goals.
That's key. So you look at what effort. So I talked about finding something that's when you're talking about creating that momentum. Clarity creates momentum. Finding something you're proud of. What efforts felt misaligned, or even, sometimes it's not misaligning, but sometimes, and you mentioned something a while back, I wish I could remember it, but sometimes you're aligned with something, but that alignment is still draining, right? And it's, maybe you're saying yes, to too much and not saying no, where you need to kind of preserve the energy you need to create that momentum for the things that you have in line. And then ask yourself, what am I avoiding? Because I'm afraid of the results. Right. Sometimes, again, if we go to the gym, sometimes it's the after effect, especially if you ain't use muscles, you ain't using in a while. You don't even have to go to the gym. Just hang out with a kid that's younger. Like, hang out with a teenager right now.
Go to the jump park.
Go to the jump park. Go walking at a park. Go to a state park where there's some hills or something. Go climb a mountain. You'll realize there's some muscles in your life that you're not using it. And as that physical sense, there's also the mental sense of that, where if you're not using mental muscles that you have never used before, it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. It's going to be stretching you. It's going to be draining at times, but you got to be able to do those things. Clarity today will always prevent regrets tomorrow. And so getting your mind right is so key. The second point that we have, strategic thought, Gary, is really alignment, how alignment fuels accountability. If you listen to some of our podcasts over the last couple of months since we started, you say, man, I hear these, I'm hearing trigger words all the time. Leadership, mindset, purpose, accountability, clarity. A lot of these things are alignment, but when it comes to these evaluations, you really want to have that accountability there to help you there to keep you on your goals. One, to show you whether or not, hey, sometimes if you're the worst enemy in the mirror, sometimes we are our worst critique. How did that go, Gary? I could have done better. Versus saying, man, you know what? This is what I did well. Right. And so having somebody that can be the devil's advocate on which way, if you're a person that, I've been told recently, about a month or so ago, George, you need to receive thank yous a lot better versus deferring them. Cause I love the appreciation. I mentioned, I love the recognition, appreciation that I inspire somebody, but just to sit and be acknowledged, it makes me uncomfortable to the point where it feels better to say, Gary, I appreciate you, man. This is like, I want to deflect and show you, the honor and bestow those, those achievements on yourself. And it's so easy for me to jump into that I don't just rest and have that accountability department that can both, one, praise me when I need to be praised, but also make sure that I'm humble when I need to be humble.
Yeah. And that's the thing. A part of the reflection is being still and recognizing what you've done well. And if no one is going to clap for you, clap for yourself.
Yeah.
And just be thankful for where you are, that you're still here, that you're making some progress to your goals, even if you haven't reached them yet.
Yeah.
The one thing when you talk about accountability and alignment, I remember this coach, one of his favorite phrases was, don't get bored doing the right thing. And, it'd always be inevitably in football, you want your number called, right? You want to get praise. And sometimes to do that, you will have to maybe do something that wasn't consistent with the game plan or align with what the strategic goal of the team was. And every time that happens, you'll get in trouble. So it's just like, so often people are on this weight loss journey. They're on this financial freedom journey, and they're reaching the markers, and they're just like, all right, well, I'm doing good. How about I do this? How about I have a whole cheat weekend and gain 10 pounds a weekend? Or how about I go buy this car that's out of my price mean because it's really nice? Yeah. It's like, no, let's be consistent. Don't get bored doing the right thing.
Yeah. And so there's a cost too when you delay these things. I want to, as we talk about the strategic alignment and things, accountability is something you got to have. Understand the cost of delay. My dad, pastor, and I know your mom was a minister as well, ordained minister. One of the things he will always say to me is delayed obedience is disobedience. Delayed obedience is disobedience. And he would talk about when you know that you're supposed to do something, or you know that you're called to do something, and you try to run from it, it's disobedience. Right. Even if you say, hey, I want to do this, it'll be the key to say, hey, George, your leader has given you an assignment, and that assignment is due on Thursday. But George knows that leader's off on Thursday and Friday, so I don't really have to turn it in until Monday. Right. When you know that you're supposed to do something and meet a goal and holding yourself accountable, and you got some dates, if you're putting that, that, hey, I got a goal of losing X weight. And I lost 7 pounds. I'm already ahead of it, so I can have a cheat. What you don't take into consideration, Gary, is how your body receives the things that you put inside yourself, and how we'll hold on to things they haven't had from a physical sense. Right. That happens in every other area of life. When you mentally are trying to defeat something or conquer a habit, or get rid of a bad habit. When you try to tease yourself with just a little sample because you've done well for 5 days, so you can have a cheat on a Saturday with one, it only takes that one to really set you back and keep you unbalanced. And so the cost of delayed evaluation is the same as the cost of disobedience. Like delayed obedience is still disobedience. If you know you're supposed to do something, I want to encourage you to make sure you're doing that. When it comes to alignment, when I think about alignment in action from a business standpoint, a business application, you think about when you're aligned with your goals, your values, accountability becomes fuel, not friction. When I want alignment in my actions and I have that accountability in my life, it fuels me. Like there's just this motivation versus creating that friction versus I want to lose 5 pounds. I lost 7 in this amount, so I'm gonna go feed myself. You don't want to create that friction for yourself, because life and the world is going to give you every opportunity to face opposition, right? Whenever there's an opportunity for you to believe in something, there's always going to be opposition for you to cancel that situation. So you always want to put yourself in a positive environment that's going to be able to fuel those habits. Talk a little bit about keeping that fuel, right? And being able to sustain the discipline. Because still to this day, you got a beast of a son that's playing football, and I see your videos. I'm looking and I see all the weights on the outside of the studio here. You got 3 or 4 treadmill bikes and all this stuff. Right. You're still putting in the time. Fueling yourself, not necessarily just to be competition for your son, but there's an example there that you're setting. We as leaders set those examples. Talk about the importance of keeping that fuel and that fire, not just for yourself, but the impact that it does for your teams.
Yeah, I think, the speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. Yeah. And my mindset as a leader, I'm never going to ask someone something that I'm not willing to do myself. Yeah. So I think proving to people that I can do things, right, makes me more effective as a leader because they know that I can get it done. And next thing that I would say is just, people look at momentum as if it's something that they're going to find. Yeah. And there's something that one day they're going to wake up with momentum. That's not how it works. Right. Momentum's work is when you have a task or you have an achievement, you do that and then you create momentum. Yep. Right. And as you continue to do the task, or you continue to live in this an alignment and hold yourself accountable to what you need to do, that momentum continues. So it's just like the quickest way to the momentum is to get up and do something and then get started. So that's where you're talking about before about disobedience and not doing things, not putting things off. I think that's why it's extremely important. what is it? The step of 1,000 miles or starts with a single step or whatever. Yeah. I know I butchered that saying, but whatever it's called, I mean, you got to get going. So that's why, self-reflection, we want to have this now and not wait till December or January because we want to encourage you not to wait till the new year to get going on those goals, on those plans, right? It's no better time than right now to get yourself going.
Yeah. It's this mindset, and you trigger something in me because like self-evaluation is not necessarily just what you did, but really the actions that you take that aligns with who you want to be and the things you want to accomplish there. So when I think about the alignment piece, as we transition to the next one, without alignment in your evaluations, without alignment, accountability feels like pressure, right? Without alignment, accountability feels like a punishment. With alignment, I believe accountability feels like purpose.
Yeah.
When you have that accountability with somebody, it's going to fuel your purpose to be able to do and be the thing you want to be. Number 3, strategic thought is finishing strong, not just a fresh start. And we kick that off with this mindset. I want to talk about this because the mentality a lot of people have is it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But we're talking about finishing strong these next 6-7 weeks that we have in 2025 so that you can start fresher.
Yeah.
A lot of people have this mindset that December, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the turkey after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like December is just kind of a throwaway month. Like it's holidays, kids got 2 weeks off.
I get back with you after the holidays.
Yeah, it's like you take 2 or 3 weeks off. We're saying December, master this evaluation over the next couple of weeks.
Right.
Start this evaluation today. And as you go through all this, get some clarity. Enjoy Thanksgiving, next week or in the leftovers the following weeks. But really take the next 6-7 weeks to really evaluate how you can finish strong so that you can start fresher in that area. What was a turning point for you? Mm-hmm. Maybe give me a time where you didn't finish strong and it messed up how you started your next year.
Yeah, I can remember earlier in my career in the NFL, right? In the off season, I would go and gain a bunch of weight, wouldn't work out, and I would finish the season at 230, 232, come back 245.
Yeah.
Right. And then all off season, I'm working just to get to 230 to start, where I finished that last year.
Right.
As I got older in my career, I started taking it more serious. I would maybe do a week off, right? But I would get right into like active rest and conditioning and Pilates and strengthening up all these things throughout the year. So then I would almost be 220 in the off season, right? And I would feel good, and then I put that strength back on. So I think, oftentimes we think there has to be so much really big actions that take place.
Yeah.
And really, I think it's more about the consistency of the action that's really going to lead to that success.
Yeah. For me, like finishing, when I think about how I finish in my mature days, I think about how do I honor myself by being a man of my word.
Yep.
Right. I've never heard somebody call on somebody who was never dependable.
Never.
Right. What I have experienced is that, for people of faith and people that have no faith in a trial in their life, everybody's asking for prayers from the men above.
Yeah.
Even those who don't believe in them. Right. Why? Because there's a power of the name. Gary and George is only as valuable as our name.
Yep.
How do we hold that name in reputation? And this is something my father would always say is like, there's power in the name.
Yeah.
And whether people call upon you for anything, can somebody call on you and say, "Hey, George, can I get an ear?"
Yeah.
George, I'm struggling with XYZ. Can you support or help me? People call and ask you because they know they can count on you.
Right.
Part of fulfilling your goals is, can you count on yourself?
Yeah.
And I had to ask myself that. I got people that text and call me for things. Do I believe in myself enough to call upon myself?
Right.
And sometimes it's like, no, because we know that we're never going to finish. And so I want to challenge people today when it comes to self-evaluation, it's not necessarily just about accomplishing great things, but fulfilling it. As we talk about finishing strong, for me, how can I honor myself by fulfilling my words and finishing strong? To be able to then bring on new things. Like if we're going to go in 2026, what do I look like creating new goals when I know that I didn't even accomplish the 3 I had this year?
Right.
What is the importance? Because I just mentioned that I do 3 every year. How many goals are too much? Because we talk about New Year's resolution. For those people, listen, I'm not knocking New Year's resolution. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
Like I want to have a lifestyle. And in this lifestyle this year, in order for me to get to where I want to be in 5 years, this is what I need to accomplish for 2026. What's a way to really set goals? Like, how do you go about setting goals? Do you have 3 goals? Do you have 5 goals? You talk about long-term planning. Right. And so how does Gary prepare now for 2026 so that he's doing everything in 2026 that's going to get him to where he wants to be in 2030?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think when I look at my goals, right, I'm looking long-term first and then breaking it down to short-term. But I look at my life as, we're made up of 7 pillars. Okay. And there's 7 different parts of us. There's our self-development. There's our business and a career. Yep. There's our physical, our mental, our financial, and then spiritual, right? Yep. And then family. In all those areas, I want to make a goal that I can grow in those areas of my life. Because, in construction, if you build a house and one of your foundations isn't strong, it doesn't matter how strong the other 6 are. Yep. Right? There's going to crumble. So for me, I try to look at all those areas and try to figure out a goal or something that I could accomplish in those areas. And then it's something that is smart, right? It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, and it's time-based. So then I kind of reverse engineer of what that goal is, and then figure out like, well, all right, what are some daily habits that I can create that can get me on alignment to reach those goals?
Yeah. Another thing about finishing strong, and this is something that I get, like when your phone's about to die, what do?
No, you rush for that charger.
Rush. Right? And it's so creative now in life that you don't even have to charge it into the wall. You can have a battery pack on the back of your phone. There's different ways to recharge. Another thing for me when it comes to finishing strong, and the reason why I love doing these self-evaluations, Gary, it gives me a true measurement of where I'm at. You talk about the 7 pillars. You be able to align where you are. Where's the energy? Where's the battery life in those areas? Is family draining you? Yeah. And you need to make that family a little bit circle, a little bit smaller. Maybe you need to protect the house. Yeah. We were talking about being a protector and wearing that mask in our previous episodes and getting those things. I believe part of the self-evaluation for me, and when it comes to finishing strong, and specifically this third strategic thought, is checking in with yourself. Like I always tell leaders in organizations, the moment you don't check in with employees, eventually employees are going to check out. If you got a team of people and you never check in with them, they're going to be thinking, leader don't care about me. Right. They're only in it for the profit. They don't care about the people, right? Their mindset begins to wonder, right? When you don't have a voice or vision, the old parable and the old saying in biblical, but also in real life, where there is no vision, people will perish, right? If they don't hear the vision, see the vision, and hear that, accountability from you or have that awareness from their leader, eventually they're going to check out. And the same goes for ourselves. If we don't check in with ourselves, eventually we will check out. Yeah. And part of self-evaluation is checking in with yourself, checking in with your goals, checking in and being real to be able to see where your energy is. Do you need to have some energy? Do you need to go on a little retreat, right? So one of these weeks, in the next 6 weeks, I'm going to take a time. It's just going to be a weekend, Friday, Saturday. I just want to spend some time with myself and just, all right, this is where I am for the year. This is where I want to be next year. These next couple of weeks before the year end, this is what I need to do to get this train moving, to gain the momentum. Because a lot of things, it's all about momentum. The big mo that you got to have in your life, and how to keep that momentum is very key as well.
I think about keeping the momentum and what you're talking about is that internal self-talk with yourself. Yeah. And my father always say, if you lie to yourself, who can you trust? Right. And I think that personal accountability you have with yourself, that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, that you're a man of your word. Right. And it's amazing how your mind and your body, when they come into agreement, because you've been like like orchestrating this thing and they're on the same team. It's no different than at work where, ops is on the same team as finance and everything is just clicking and rolling, man. That thing starts rolling. So it's just about being consistent with what you want to see out of yourself. And like I said, building failure into the plan, but still showing up every single day, being consistent and not taking no for an answer.
It's not what you do occasionally. It's what you do consistently that makes you better.
Yeah.
And so consistency really builds accountability. Consistency really builds trust. What you can consistently do is so vital. So I want to wrap it right there and end it right there because I think that's key. It's so important. I want to build on that. That may be a conversation we need to talk about as well. That consistency. Yeah. Because you become what you consistently do, and those outcomes are key in your life. So as Gary ended, consistency is the key. I believe consistency builds that trust. Yep. I want to encourage everybody that's out there listen. If this is a podcast that's been fruitful for you, we want to thank you, one, for giving us the time. Your time is your greatest resource that you cannot have back, and you taking this time to listen to Gary and I. And we hope that something we said or done today has been valuable to you to help you as you self-evaluate yourself and, of course, your life. If you want more information, you can always visit championblueprintpodcast.com. Reach out to Gary and I. We're all on all platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. Absolutely. We're on all the good stuff. We'll love to connect with you, whether it's just through networking, whether it's through workshops, keynote speaking. We're here to help you grow and champion your mindset and also champion your purpose. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, George Rogers, the Gary Brackett.
Yep.
Let's go.